Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl JoJo, and I'm here with the review for Family or Fiance. Of course, I don't know the episode number, but I will have it right in the description bar. Hope y'all are doing good. We got to get through this review fast because I only have a few more minutes left in my lunch. Now, I actually recorded this already yesterday, but I had some problems with the upload, so I had to delete the whole thing and basically do it over today because that's how much I love you guys. So let's get to it. All right, so we have LaShonda and Dre. Their wedding is in 3 weeks. It is the talk of the town. Everybody wants to be on their RSVP list, but they got to get their families together first. So LaShonda has 2 children. I think the ages are 8 and 9 or 9 and 10, 2 girls, that Dre is planning on adopting. Don't keep that in mind. In addition to that, Dre is a popular DJ. He's DJ for the likes of Snoop and Bryson Tiller, so guess he got it going on. And LaShonda has just had to learn how to trust him. There are a lot of women around, but she's just tried to develop that trust in him, which is always good. You're going to need that with anybody that's in the entertainment industry, period. But the families. Okay, so this is who we have coming on each side. On LaShonda's side, we have her sisters. Okay, and then we have Daddy Steve, who was one of my personal favorites. Now, there was 1 minute where I wasn't rocking with Daddy Steve, but for the most part, I liked him. He made me laugh. He's loud. He's country. He's old school. He says the word daughter like my daddy says the word daughter, my daughter, and the D-A-W-D-A. Gotta love it, right? Then we have on his side, we have his mother, his younger sister, and Brandon. So the concern for LaShonda's family is mainly about the adoption and what's going to be best for the girls. Her other sister is also concerned about her temper. And when you get angry, are you going to be able to kind of shut that down, or are you just going to, are you not shut it down, but are you going to be able to contain that, or are you just going to shut down like you normally do? I just want to know, are you going to be okay? So that's one person who's mentioned LaShonda's anger. We're going to keep a tally. Then Daddy Steve is also worried about him being a DJ in that profession and what goes on. And he knows his daughter is not going to be for any type of mess. Then on the other side, his mother is concerned about the adoption as well, but she does mention that she loves the girls. And the younger sister is concerned about her brother being hurt again. So maybe he was in a bad relationship before. I'm not really sure. I also don't know the ages of these two. If they mentioned it, please forgive me. I didn't hear it. But anyway, moving forward. And lastly, we have Brandon. Now, Brandon's a very interesting character for so many different reasons. But I'm going to try to tread as lightly as I can. But of course, we got to tell the truth about, my accountability head will always be around, like I talked about for the Married at First Sight episode. So, at first, it would appear that Brandon is a concerned friend, right? Okay, he is worried about his boy getting married and wants the boy to do what's best. That's what it appears to be at first. But once you look at the things that Brandon does and the things that he has to say, that's not his sole purpose. While I believe that's 50% of it, the other 50% is quite messy, and I'm going to explain why, or try to. So when Brandon makes his comment, he says that marriage is basically about giving somebody half of your stuff if things weren't to work out. And he really doesn't understand why Brandon would want to do it in the first place. But if Brandon is going to do it, LaShonda, I hang out with Brandon. There's a lot of women around, and what he does, boy, I done been there with you. I done been there. And I just need to know, if something were to happen, are you going to be okay with that? Basically, like, are you going to stay, or are you going to try to take my man's for what he got? Basically, is what he's saying. So Daddy Steve really wasn't feeling that comment at all, and nobody truly was. But I could tell by the way he made the comment and how he reacted after, it's not just about what's best for Brandon. I mean, he kind of sat back and smirked, and I think he wanted to get a reaction. So as far as Brandon goes, and I know people like Brandon. Some of us probably got friends like Brandon. I think it's worth noting that his own friend, his boy, since however long, called him a hater. He said that Brandon's a hater, and you kind of just got to know him to understand him. His own friend said that. Now, I'm familiar with Brandon's in various walks of life, some of his family. You just got those people that are a little bit more pessimistic. They always got something to say about something. And it's probably not healthy that you maintain certain relationships with them because they may not know boundaries, but you've known them for a long time. You love them. You somehow understand their way of thinking. And a little part of you actually feels sorry for them because they're never truly going to be happy with anything because they always got something to say. I used to be a little bit of that person. Actually, that's why I understand it so well. But I wasn't like, low down and dirty with it. I wasn't like that. But, I had some of it in me and still got a little bit low key. Low key, I'm working on it. So anyway, but yeah, you just have those type of people around or whatever. So Brandon just might be one of those people that could be a part of it. As far as his ideas about marriage, that is an understandable point to a certain degree. That is definitely an understandable point. Brandon may have seen somebody get railroaded in a divorce, or he may just pay attention to stuff that goes on in the popular, news media of people getting divorced. He may have been played by somebody in the past, and now he just doesn't generally look at loving relationships that way. It could be a number of things. He could be putting off his insecurities onto Brandon, or his thoughts and insecurities about marriage onto Brandon. Those things could be happening. But what's interesting about him making the financial part of the statement is, I hear people say that a lot. Like, my cousin goes in on that tangent a lot, and I hear it often from people who don't have means. Like, Dre's the one with the means here. I don't know what Brandon does, but those are his means to do whatever he wants to. If he wants to go half on it with LaShonda, that's Dre's decision. He's the adult in it. But yeah, my cousin don't have a job, and he's always talking about, y'all gonna try to take half of what I got. What do you have? If anything, you gonna get half of what somebody else has. But maybe because I don't talk to that many people, men of means. That might be why I've never heard it from them. I'm not sure, but I hear it a lot from people who don't have means, and that's being in with it. But anyway, but as far as the financial part of marriage, I've always said that if you have means, I think that anybody with them should protect themselves. You should get a prenuptial agreement. That is, man or woman, you should protect your assets if you do have them. I don't know a lot about prenups, and it's something that I need to research just so I can kind of know a little better what I'm talking about. We all could stand to be more knowledgeable of the laws and contracts. And as we move towards more progressive times, marriage, the things have changed around it. You do have to take more progressive measures. So I say take every step to protect yourself. And if Brandon wants to offer that to Dre, now that's what a friend would do, would say, hey, what about your finances? Are you looking at protecting your finances? I'm just looking out for my friend. But the little comment that he threw in there, especially with adding infidelity to it, like, if you were just concerned about half his stuff, then say, how do I know that you're going to be there for my boy and not leave him and not run out on him and not try to take everything from him? Don't add in bad behavior and then try to say, are you going to stick around despite any of the bad behavior, right? That let me know, A, how his accountability works, and B, he probably was just trying to get something stirred up. And he actually does succeed in doing so most of the episode. That's enough talk about Brandon. But what do y'all think about prenups and all of that? Y'all can let me know. I know some people see it as planning to get a divorce, but I say if you ain't planning to get a divorce, no way. What's wrong with signing it? Works both ways to me. But y'all can let me know. Now, for those of y'all, like, you young and you building up businesses and all of that stuff, I don't know. I guess y'all just got to go back in and do some clauses and agreements. I'm not sure. That's why I say I got to learn more about it. Anyway, I'm sorry. I got on my tangent. I just said we didn't have a lot of time. So when they do their activities, and the activities have changed a little bit, they're going to do like a tell me your fears activity, the question game. And then there's another one where Brandon's going to do the 5-year plan, the question game. So Brandon doesn't get too far in the 5-year plan. They mainly talk about the adoption. My thoughts on the adoption is this. I don't think Brandon should do... Brandon. Lord have mercy. Did I say Brandon earlier? Dre. You see how much he in my psyche. Dre. They don't get too far along in the 5-year plan. They mainly talk about the adoption. My thoughts on the adoption is this. I don't think Dre should do it. And the reason why I don't think he should do it is because the father is somewhere still alive and in the picture. Now, granted, Dre said that when he was first dealing with LaShonda, he wasn't around like that. We don't get in a full picture as to what the dad does and doesn't do. But you can still be a great stepfather without having to make that step. I understand him and LaShonda discuss what would happen if something happened to her, and he would pretty much have no say in what happens with the girls. I understand those fears, but let that be a fear that you take to the child's father, and y'all discuss it all three as a group together before you make this decision. Or you and the brother talk one-on-one. I don't know who the brother is, but Daddy Steve said it would be like waking a sleeping giant, so he must be quite the gentleman. But I would not talk through LaShonda. Like, I'm not talking to your child's father about this through you. We either all gonna talk about it because it affects the girls and we got a co-parent, or it's gonna be just me and him. But it's not gonna be me talking just solely through you. And regardless of what he's doing or not doing, he is their father. I do believe, if I'm right, he does have to sign off on it, and that is the man that LaShonda chose. And it's just kind of what it is. But I don't know if I think that Dre should do that. Y'all can let me know what y'all think about it. That's mainly all they talk about, but they get a better understanding of how Dre loves her, loves those girls. Dre says that he doesn't always feel like they're there for LaShonda, and that's when Daddy Steve was just like, well, listen, out of all my daughters, LaShonda is the only one that talks to me crazy. She's the only one that gets loud with me. She's the only one that gets disrespectful, and so that's why we have the problems that we have. So that's two people who have mentioned her temper. The third sister said she is the worst parts of my daddy and our mother. So that's the third person that has said that. And even the daddy agrees, like, yep, and that's a toxic combination. So we do know that she does have an anger problem. Enough people have mentioned it. It can't just be, they ain't all making it up. So we get to see a little bit of it. When we go over to LaShonda, she's talking to the mother and the sister and Brandon. And they bring up a certain point in time. They talk about the adoption again, of course. But they bring up a certain point in time where LaShonda got upset with Brandon. And Brandon was like, you kind of came at me and you was mad at me. And she was like, yeah, because of what you said. And as mad as I got, I could have gotten a whole lot madder. And it is revealed then that Brandon made a comment about her daughters. One of them, he said that she was going to be the sassy and pretty one. And the other one she had a good personality. So LaShonda said, basically, you call my baby ugly. And y'all know mamas don't play when you call their kids ugly. Which is not, no laughing matter. I mean, if I was a mother, that would have had me thinking wrong. But one of the things I noticed about LaShonda is that she gives certain things energy that she really just shouldn't put her time into. And it was making me really aggravated throughout the episode. I understood her anger. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I understood why that comment was inappropriate, why he shouldn't be judging little girls, why he shouldn't be judging those girls, period, or talking about those girls. I understood where the upset came from. I was upset that she was giving Brandon this much power, because Brandon was a source of contention it was a source of discussion the entire episode, pretty much. And he shouldn't have been, because this is you and Dre's relationship. And it was bothering me that she was feeding into what he was doing, because every time Brandon would make a comment, he would kind of sit back and cover his mouth. And I think because he was laughing. And every time that LaShonda gave in to whatever was going on around her that was making her upset, she portrayed herself as the person that everybody has made her out to be. And only you have control of that. You have control of yourself. Regardless of what the outside world is doing, you have to take control and accountability for how you react. It was effed up what he said, but I would have pissed him off by not even giving him the energy. I would have been like, swerve. But I would have told him off the first time. I ain't gonna lie. The first time. But when he brought it up again, I would have been like, we're not even talking about that right now. You was wrong. You were disrespectful. We're gonna move on to something else. Right? But that's how it went down outside. That's how it went down when they got to dinner. It got brought up again, and Brandon again sat back and watched. Daddy Steve, he kind of agreed with Brandon and told LaShonda, well, not agreed with Brandon, but basically said, I don't think he was meaning it the way that you were taking it. That pissed LaShonda off, because now her daddy don't have her back. So she get up from the table. She mad. She yelling. Everybody's looking at her because she is showing out, basically, and she is becoming that person that everybody talked about. If you don't want people to call you angry, if you don't want people to view you as angry, you are responsible for changing your behavior. That's just it. That's it. And I know people are going to say effed up stuff to you. I know people are going to push your buttons. But the best revenge is becoming all of those things that they said that you couldn't be. To me, that's the best revenge. So when I saw her showing out, I understood where she was coming from, but I was just like, ooh, girl. Then when she gets over with Dre, she wants Dre to choose. Like, you need to have my back. You need to stick up for me. You never stick up for me. You always take up for Brandon. I don't know the deepness of the relationship with Brandon and Dre, but I can imagine that maybe they've been through some difficult times together. They have a long friendship. It's hard for Brandon to put it in check the way he needs to. Brandon is more of a peacemaker. He is a lover, not a fighter. Even his mother says that. But again, I was upset that both of them were giving Brandon that much inside of their relationship. I couldn't think of the word. So after the dinner, and they have another counseling session, LaShonda is, talking with the hands, saying, you don't defend me, you don't do this. And he was just like, I do feel like I defend you, though. I didn't pick a side. And Tracy said, well, actually, Dre, you picked a side. And Dre doesn't even realize that he picked a side. He's just like, I did? And she was like, yeah. And not saying anything to Brandon, you picked a side. And she gets Dre to understand that. It's unfortunate, but I just don't think that Dre has the personality type that LaShonda is kind of wanting him to have. He's just not that type of person. And I mean, I don't know if anything can truly be done about that, because he can say something to Brandon, but he has to say it and mean it. So I think that's kind of the problem that they're up against. And so as LaShonda's getting more heated, Tracy has her turn around and look at Dre. Was I saying Dre earlier? I feel like I keep interchanging their names. If I am, I'm sorry. But y'all know who I'm talking about. So when she looks at Dre and she starts to cry, like immediately, I knew she was going to cry. Because deep down inside, I think she feels bad. I think she feels bad for showing out the way that she does. I think she feels bad every time she turns up. I think she's embarrassed. But sometimes when you got that kind of attitude and you start showing out, you know you wrong in the midst of doing it. And you know you're getting on everybody's nerves. But because you're too embarrassed to apologize and to come off of it, you just start showing out even more. And I think that's what she was doing. And so when she looked at Dre and saw how much Dre truly loved her and realized it's really about y'all, I think she felt bad about it. And I think that's why she burst into tears. Y'all, this lady about to walk past me. She about to throw me off my video. Anyway, so yeah, I think she felt bad for turning up the way that she did. But, the damage, I guess, is already done. But let's try to repair it. So she does end up having a conversation with Daddy Steve, because Tracy believes a lot of her anger is rooted in childhood, and it is. I don't know why her and Daddy Steve have this relationship that is so rough that he doesn't seem to have with the other girls. The conversation didn't start off well. She wasn't looking at him when she was talking to him at first. Then, she was angry, and she was getting probably how you wouldn't talk to your parents normally, but she was getting mad, he was getting mad, and he was just like, you're not gonna put it on me. You got a whole bunch of other problems that don't have nothing to do with me, and I'm not about to sit here and listen to that. Now where me and Daddy Steve fell out is when the other daughter was trying to explain to him, you raised us, but now we're asking you to show some concern for how we feel emotionally. And he was just like, man, you can't wrap your emotions up in y'all women. Oh, he basically was just like, they emotional, they crazy. I ain't about to wrap my emotions. So right then I was just like, oh, Daddy Steve, come on now. Come on. This ain't just any old woman. These are your daughters that are crying out to you. This would be different if it was just anybody, but these are your daughters. And even he admitted, I raised them like boys. I raised them to be tough and independent and strong. And so, maybe that was my fault. So he does. Daddy Steve and LaShonda might be alike, because I think even he realizes that, I probably ain't acting the best, but she ain't finna sit here and tell me what kind of, he had a drink in his hand, what kind of daddy I was. I'm leaving. She got a whole bunch of other problems, and she talking to me crazy, so I'm about to go. So the conversation doesn't go well. They're both yelling at each other, which is never ideal for parents. But Brandon gets wind of the conversation. So now he pulls Dre to the side and says, you can take the alley You can take the cat out the alley, but you can't take the alley out the cat. In regards to LaShonda, and I would never be with nobody like that. Disrespecting your parents, like, that's a no. That's a negative for me. Your parents, you can't never repay them. They done stuff for you. So if you want to get with that, I mean, man, that's you. But me, I wouldn't. First of all, Brandon, you wouldn't get with nobody because you already said that you don't really believe too much in marriage. That's the first thing. And the second thing is you're just looking for something else to add to the fact that you don't really like LaShonda. You don't really want the two of them to get married. It doesn't really have a lot to do with the fact that she talked just, so disrespectful to her daddy, and you just all on Daddy Steve's side with it. No, it just has more so to do with the fact that you don't really care for LaShonda. But however you want to wrap it up, and I saw some people falling for that too. He sees now, like, Brandon he peep game. If you talk to your daddy like that, then that means that you gonna talk to Dre like that. Well, she has an anger problem. So first of all, she got to work on that anyway, because she doesn't know how to talk to people in general, and her daddy is included in that. But you don't care nothing about Daddy Steve is my point. It don't have nothing to do with nothing. You just needed something else to add to the tally mark. Her anger is the main issue. I agree with that. So anyway, she hears it. And again, she's mad at Dre. Like, you again did not stick up for me. You did not defend me. You did not take up for me. And when it comes to Brandon, you never do. And then she feels like it's going to start affecting whether or not they're going to get married. And Dre was just like, well, if you feel like that, then we don't need to get married then, if you think it's all of that, because I do defend you. And Tracy was like, well, actually, Dre, did you really defend her? And again, he sees what she's talking about. But, the bottom line is Dre doesn't want to do it. Not when it comes to Brandon. He just doesn't want to have to choose between the two of them. But from the counseling session, I guess I'm gathering that LaShonda wants him to make a choice. Like, he can't be in my wedding. And he said that he would be okay with letting Brandon know that, because Tracy tells him at the end of the day, when you bond to your wife, it's about your wife. It's not about your friends anymore. And that's true, y'all. I mean, that really is true. And I think a lot of us have a hard time with that. I know I do. But that's really the truth. It really is forsaking all others. Of course, you want your people and your village around you, but people got to fall in line, which is why I said again, I was mad that they were giving Brandon that much power. At the end, he ends up telling Brandon basically it was like a goodbye. Like, they broke up their friendship. LaShonda whispered to him, don't do it if you don't want to. And I think that was LaShonda's way. Some of y'all gonna disagree with me, but I think that was her way of acknowledging the fact that Dre had said during the counseling session, I think you get upset that I don't move like you want me to. Like, it's not your way. I don't do it as quick, or I don't do it how you want me to, but I'm gonna get it done, and I wish you would just give me a little bit more patience. And I think she understood what he was saying, kind of. And when she told him, don't do it if you don't want to, I think that was her way of acknowledging, like, okay, I finally get what you're saying. Everything can't happen on my time. But Dre, I said Brandon again, but Dre went ahead and did it. And I was just like, I kind of wish he wouldn't have done that. Like, I know that Brandon's a lot of things, but I don't think it was enough for me to break up the friendship. If anything, I would have got with my woman and been like, you know what, whenever he says something ignorant, I will try my best to put it in check. No, not try my best. I will put it in check. I don't need to let you know everything he say, because don't let me know if he say something stupid about me. Like, don't even share that with me. I will make sure that he respects our relationship, understands that I love you. I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to be here for your girls. That is my decision. I would just be happy with my woman. And LaShonda, I would be happy with my man. And I would just ignore Brandon. He could come by the house. He could come to different stuff that we do as a group. But when we go on date nights, I'm not linking up with him and his girl. That's not what I want to do. If you want to go out with him on your own, you do so. But for the most part, I'm here for you. I'm not here for him. That would have been my primary focus. I hope she works on her anger. She needs some individual counseling because she was quite outbursty. And Dre, just be a little bit stronger for your family. This is your family now. And just be a little bit stronger. And whenever you need to check Brandon, go ahead and check it. Even Brandon said you never needed my approval. So why? Don't give anybody that much control of your relationship. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. And I will talk to y'all for the next one. Bye.